disease. None of us are going to get through this without dying first. And that's also completely terrifying and also kind of powerful. And I remembered a conversation that I had with my friend Rachel, who I adore, and I had many great conversations with Rachel, where I said, I had spoken with my therapist, and one of the things that he reminded me was to start the conversation, because you can suffer alone and you can have all this incredible pain that you live with, and if you don't tell anybody, no one can help you. Nobody knows what to do. There is no, here's a job, here's a helpful conversation. I have a really sweet friend who just sent me fudge for no reason, and I cried when I opened the envelope that I just got random fudge. And so I had put out this call on Facebook, because that's where I have this little box in my house, and all my favorite people live inside of it. And I said, I'm having a really hard time. I don't have any money. And after I got done with my appointment, it was 2 weeks ago, my car died and my transmission went out. And I have no money, I have no credit cards. I have 6 credit cards that are calling me all day long to tell me that I owe them money. And I felt like I have no idea, I don't know what to do at this point. Like, I've never been so completely financially devastated. I'm having an out of money experience. Like a really big one, and I don't know what to do, and I'm scared. And my boyfriend lives far away, and he's having financial problems, and now we can't get to each other, and we haven't seen each other in 2 months, and it's freaking my shit out. And then someone called me and said, I'm about to buy this car for my dad, and when I do, I have this extra car, and I don't need it, which is astounding to me. Like, I want you all to know right now that if something happens to you, there's such a thing as a vehicle that's just sitting around, that they're going to be glad that you get it. Bart, just saying. All these things exist, and it was kind of like thrown out there, like, hey, this is a possibility, but I didn't want to bank on that, because that's ridiculous. Who wants to make an assumption that there's this free car out in the world that someone's going to hand to you, or nearly free? It's absurd. It's totally absurd. And so yesterday, I was totally freaking out, and I realized I've got this extra day. Like, this is it's an extra day, and it's also it's like leap and hump day. This is the weirdest, this is a totally weird holiday, and if I don't make the best of this, I'm wasting it. And there was a rumor that this car was going to happen that day, and then nothing was said, and there was no conversation. And how do you start the conversation? Like, hey, you remember that car that you said you were going to give me? That's ridiculous. So I just thought, I guess it's not going to happen, and that's okay, because it's already silly, and how could I expect that? And then, like, at 11:30 at night, I get a phone call, and Bart, and another friend of ours, who also I met ages ago on an internet site, and his internet handle is Sane Guy. So Sane Guy gave me a car yesterday, right before midnight, and I still don't believe this. I still don't believe that this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous. We walked out to it, and I said, so what's wrong with the car? Like, what's wrong with it? And he goes, well, you can't open the trunk with the key. You have to push the button. Okay, but then when you open the trunk, there's like a monster that pops out. There's a homeless guy living in it. I don't understand. And he goes, well, it's got a lot of miles, but it's a Toyota Camry. It's a '98, so this officially is the newest car I've ever owned. And it's fine. So it happens, and people will give you things. If you start the conversation, whatever it is, whatever dream that you have, whatever thing that you want, and it doesn't matter how absurd it is. You could say, I want to climb Mount Everest, and if you start the conversation, you'll meet people who want to do that, and you'll start doing it. So, the next conversation is, hey, rent, but I think that's going to happen too, because it's just little stupid pieces of paper, and what really matters is conversation, the people that you have in your life, and I'm really grateful because I have a whole lot of really amazing people in my world. So thanks for that.
Well, that is, I think, a very beautiful note to go out on. Feel free to hang out, keep talking with people, keep having those conversations. Come back here next month.